Hey guys, Titus again with another Master Duel video, and we're playing Despia. Alright, well, I call this Despia pile. It's not good. Don't do this unless you want to have fun, and then of course go ahead and have fun away. Really, I'm getting all the Despia stuff to prepare for the Albaz structure deck that we'll get in probably a year. So, I put together this pile. It's a mix of the Shadal, Dogmatica, Despia stuff. It's actually not that bad, but because we have to run a 13-card structure deck to stop dying from Banquet OTK, it's a little worse because we need the extra cards. But other than that, it's pretty fun. Let's go over by card. I'll go over the hand traps first, and then we'll go over the rest of the cards. So we're playing 2 Gamma in the Driver. Really good for going second. This deck can really like to go second and would maybe prefer it, but the 60-card variant doesn't necessarily prefer it. Also, they're light targets for some light fusions. We're playing the 3 Ash Blossom, the 3 Maxi, and we're playing 3 Imperm. We're not playing Droplet in this version because the deck really can't afford to play Droplet. It can't afford the extra discarding of stuff yet. So that's the hand trap lineup. Of course, no explanation for Maxi. It's an amazing card. It's been around. Ash Blossom, also really good, and Imperm stops the monsters. So that's it for that. Let's talk about some of the other cards. Let's talk about Despian Tragedy. This card says, when it's sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can add a Despian monster from your deck to your hand, except Tragedy. And then you can banish this card from the graveyard, target a branded spell or trap, and then set it to your field. Usually this is supposed to happen with Branded in red, which is a card that comes out in Burst of Destiny, which really helps the deck and helps with all the fusion and facilitating that. It's the deck I'm actually going to take to a regional down in Tulsa this weekend. So it's a really fun deck, very anti-meta, can play on your opponent's turn, doesn't care about Scythe Lock. But this version is a little different. So really this card right now is basically to do a fusion, either grab an Aluber or set the field spell, which is right here, the Despia Theater of the Branded. So that's kind of its main use. Also, getting banished off of the Allure of Darkness is really useful to search Aluber if you happen to banish it from your hand. So that is the Despian Tragedy. We are also playing 3 Aluber. It is the Searcher, so if it's normal or special, you can add a branded spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, while this card is in the graveyard, you can target what effect monster your opponent controls. Special summon the card, and if you do, it's a fleur-de-lis from the hand, except it's in the graveyard if your fusion material leaves the field. It's pretty cool. But it's the main Searcher. When Branded Fusion comes out pretty soon, at least pretty soon in terms of the TCG, it searches Branded Fusion, which is it's Shadal Fusion but better. It's just a crazy, really good card. And then we're playing a Dramaturge for the last of the Despia lineup because we don't have Ad Liptum yet, and we're not playing Comedy at the moment. So this one is Fusion, Synchro, or Link monster is special summoned. You can target one effect monster on the field and negate its effects to the end of the turn. If this card is in your hand or field, is used as fusion material and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can just special summon it. So it's another free body to special summon. Pretty good. You can get it out with the branded opening spell. We're also playing Albion, the Shrouded Dragon. This goes with the Fallen of Albaz stuff. It becomes Fallen of Albaz while in the field or in the graveyard. This card is in your hand or graveyard. You can send a Fallen Albaz or branded spell or trap from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and then apply an effect. So you can special summon the card, or you can place it on the bottom, so you get to just recycle. It's pretty good. With that, we're playing 2 Fallen of Albaz. It's a super poly that people can respond to, basically. When it's normal fusion or special summoned, discard a card, use your opponent's field, fuse stuff off. Pretty good. And so to go along with that, we are playing, as I said, the Despia Theater of the Branded. It's the field spell, and you can fusion summon a level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on your hand or field as material. If a face-up non-fusion fairy monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect or is destroyed by battle, you can target one level 8 or higher fusion monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So pretty cool, pretty good recursion. And they're playing Branded Opening. And this card says discard a card, take a Despia monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it in defense position. Also for the rest of the turn, you can only fusion summon. And then if a fusion monster would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish it, so it's a Banelinks protection, except not by battle. What's really good is this card is by effect, so they ash it before you discard, so you don't have to discard. So it's not a neg if they ash it. It's actually quite fine because then you discard, then you summon the Despia monster. So it's pretty nice. And then for the rest of the material monsters, you've probably seen a lot of these other things before. We're playing 3 Windy, 3 Skolmata. We're playing 1 Beast for the Shadal monsters, 3 Shadal Fusion for the Shadal Fusion cards. We're playing 3 Ecclesia, 1 Floor, 1 Maximus for the Shadal package with Ecclesia stuff to summon a Winda. And then we're playing, of course, the 1 Nadir Servant. We're playing the 3 Alistair, the Invoker, the 2 Invocation, the 2 Meltdown, of course, Terraforming to search Meltdown or the Despia card. And then for some draw power, we're playing Allure of Darkness. It draws 2, then banishes a dark. Most of the deck is dark, besides a couple of these light guys. And also, if you banish the Tragedy, as I said, you get to get the Allure, which is a really good little combo there. We're playing 3 Pot of Prosperities. When you have to play around Banquet, going from a 13-card extra deck to a 10-card extra deck is not good. Really, this should be like Nibiru or Effect Veiler, more light targets, basically. It could be Droplet, I guess. I could put it in as Droplet, that would be okay. But I kind of just use it just as a discard, basically. If I have it with one of the other cards that needs a discard, it's one of the ones I usually just discard. We're playing 2 Super Polys because we want to use our opponent's board. That's a good thing. And then we're playing, of course, the Punishment and the Schism. All right, so for the Invocation cards and the extra deck and such, we're playing an Intis, of course, to send off the Punishment, or the Nadir. We're playing a Invoked Calica because of Dark Monsters. So this basically says your opponent can only, or sorry, not opponent, each player can only attempt to activate one effect, one monster effect per turn. So kind of good for locking down the deck and locking down your opponent. We're playing, of course, the Winda, the Apkallone, the Construct. You've seen this before. The Aguides, of course, for all the fusions that we're playing, really good for killing people now that we have a bunch of fusions in the graveyard because it can banish one and gain the attack. It's really good. 1 Titaniclad for the Nadir. We're playing Albion the Branded Dragon. This card is so good. If this card is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except Albion the Branded Dragon, by banishing fusion materials on it from your hand, field, or graveyard during the end phase. If this card is in the graveyard because it's sent this turn, you can add to your hand or set 1 branded spell or trap from your deck. Not as good without branded in red, and maybe we'll make a full branded just pure branded deck. We'll see how that goes, but right now I wanted to play this. This card's really good because if you have Invocation, I know it's a 3-card combo, but if you have Invocation, Alistair the Invoker, and then one of the Despia cards, or sorry, no, that's wrong. It can't be done that way. I'm sorry. You can't do it that way. You have to have Fallen of Albaz, of course. So if you could do all your plays with the Invocation and the Allure and all that stuff. You can do those plays. And then if you have a Fallen of Albaz and a Ecclesia, you could also do that as well, where you could summon the Ecclesia and the Albaz and make one of these, and then potentially also go into more stuff for follow-up on the next turn. So say you've go ahead and you had a Invocation activated, and you had to discard to boost up an attack. And then, so Alistair is now in the grave, and another light monster is in the grave. And then on your turn, you get to summon this guy off of Fallen of Albaz, and then you can just banish the light and Alistair to make a Mechaba. So it has some synergy there where it has your follow-up plays, and then you can go ahead and activate Invocation if Invocation's in your grave to bounce back again. So there are some follow-up and synergies with the deck. They're situational, though. Really, this is better later on when Branded Fusion comes out. We're playing the Despian Quarterus. It's just a big beefy boy, but it's really easy to make. It's a lighter dark. 1 Despia and a lighter dark. And then during the main phase, you make all other attacks 0 besides level 8 fusions. And if this control leaves a field, because of an opponent's card effect, you can add to your hand or special summon a Fallen of Albaz or Despia monster. Fallen of Albaz or Despia monster. Both are really good. So really, really solid card. Of course, 2 Mechaba. We're playing Artemis for the 1 card with the Alistair, and then we're playing this big boy, Despian Proskinian. This card almost won me a duel against, what's it called? Dragon Link in my locals last weekend, because it has a Despian monster, 1 light, and 1 dark. And so if you super poly a light and a dark plus your Despian monster, you get rid of them, plus you get this big boy here. And during the main phase, you can target a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, or special summon it to your field. Its effects are not negated. That's crazy. It's a really, really, really good card. It's just kind of hard to make. And then also, if this monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can then burn them for the original attack or defense, whichever one is higher. And then you can use each effect once per turn. Really solid card. People kind of underestimate it, but right now it's kind of hard to make. You're really good for breaking certain boards, but not breaking every board. But with that, let's go see a game that was played a little earlier today. All right, we're loading in here, and our duel is against Cyber Dragon. Unfortunately, I didn't know this when we were playing. So, our hand is looking actually pretty good. We're going to activate Magical Meltdown. Of course, we've seen this before. We're going to grab our Alistair, the Invoker. We're going to summon Invoker, activate its effect to grab the Invocation. But then, we're going to go ahead and activate Branded Opening here, discarding the Prosperity to summon a Luber. A Luber effect is going to grab Despia, Theater of the Branded. We're going to activate Theater of the Branded. We're going to use its effect to special summon Quarterus. Now, here's where I make the mistake. I shouldn't have summoned this here. Really, this should be summoned anywhere else. I didn't know I was playing against Cyber Dragon. But just in case, for future reference for anybody else playing, know that Cyber Dragon is a deck that is played. Summon in your extra monster zones. No need to summon in the link zone. But anyway, we summon our Quarterus. Then we can go ahead and activate our Invocation, banishing the Aluber and the Alistair to summon Kaliga. We're activating Invocation. We're going to grab Alistair the Invoker back and put Invocation back to the deck. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I not activate Dogmatic Ecclesia? I couldn't activate both effects. I can only summon. I couldn't summon and get its effect because of Kaliga. So I wanted to just go ahead and in here and have a little bit of recursion for the next couple turns. So we're going to go ahead and in phase. Our opponent is going to go ahead and activate this Heartbeast Feather Duster to take care of our one back row. They're going to summon the Nashter Activate Machine dupe. It's a little awkward for us here, unfortunately, because of this. They're going to Contact Fuse, summon out the Chimera Tech Mega Fleet, summon Nova, and then they're going to go ahead and go for Infinity because they know they only have a single activation. Now, we could have activated Alistair here, but it would have just gotten negated by the Infinity, so it really wasn't worth it to do so. So we're just going to go ahead and let Kaliga die, and we're going to take the 24 to the dome. No big deal. We have plenty of cards here. We're still kind of in this. We draw Windy. Not great, but that's alright. We bait out the negate with a Shaddoll Fusion. We have to have Infinity answer this, or else it's game over. So Infinity does negate this. But that just leaves us to be able to summon for Alistair the Invoker, and they don't have an Imperm in the background, so we can go ahead and pop off with this Invocation. We activate Invocation. They're going to activate Overflow, which is wrong. They shouldn't have done this. They could have waited, but I was going to get the pop anyway, but they wouldn't have died this turn if they wouldn't have done this. Spoilers, I guess. They're going to pop the Alistair, but it doesn't matter because I can do it from grave anyway. We're going to ban the Quarterus and the Alistair to summon Agoides. Agoides effect. We're going to go ahead and pop this Infinity, and then we're going to activate Invocation, do the thing that we do, shuffle back, go ahead and grab Alistair, and then we're going to summon that Ecclesia that we were holding so long. Activate Ecclesia's effect, grab Fleur-de-Lis, summon Fleur-de-Lis, of course, and negate this Chimera Tech Mega Fleet. And because we negate it, its attack is going to go to 0. We're going to activate Agoides, banishing Kaliga, and this, with a Fleur-de-Lis pump, is exact game. Pretty funny how it works out. Now mind you, this may look fun, but the deck will break. Don't expect the deck to perform like this every time. I've only played like 2 or 3 duels with it so far, and both duels, the opponent surrendered, so I couldn't really get a game for you besides the Cyber Dragon one. So, but we're gonna play some jankiness. We'll build pure branded, and we'll just have fun with it, and we'll just see what happens. So, if you want to see that, please subscribe to the channel, like the video because it helps the channel get noticed. It is very much appreciated. Go check out the 100 subscriber video giveaway that we're doing if we haven't passed it already. But this is going up Friday, I think, so it probably won't be passed by then. And thanks, everybody. Happy dueling.